proud and happy to be supportive of the All Children, All Families campaign. Our organization knows firsthand what it's like for people to grow up alone in this world. I don't know what your personal experience is like to be alone. Can you remember a time in your life where you were totally alone? The closest I can remember, I did not grow up in care. The closest I can remember was when I was in graduate school and I went off to my first job in the big city a long ways away, and I got off the airplane. I remember walking through the airport going, I only know the person that hired me. It's the only person I know in this entire town. And that feeling of aloneness was the first time, I think I was 27 years old, I had ever felt alone. I've always had a support network around me. For people who grew up in foster care, though, that sense of being alone is something that is always with them. One of my dear friends in our movement said that when she was in elementary school, she learned how to spell the word precious as a vocabulary word. And then she learned the meaning of the word precious. And she said, for the rest of her childhood, she kept hoping that she would be precious to somebody. Most of us don't know that kind of impact and how our hearts can feel empty and lonely because people don't take us in and make us part of their family. Another one of our alumni members who lives in Los Angeles talks about the day that came for her, like 25,000 other kids a year, when the foster care movement said, well, we've done for you what we're going to do, you're on your own. And they put her out in the street with her plastic bag full of clothes. And she said, you have no idea what it's like to be put out in the world when you don't really have the skills because you haven't had a family. Nobody's prepared you for that moment, no matter how many independent living programs you go through. When the moment comes where they put you on the street and say you're on your own, that's the loneliest feeling in the world. Another one of our members who lives in the South, he was also put out from foster care. And the day they moved him from foster care, they took him right to a homeless shelter. And I watched him bounce around over the years as he's gone to live in flop house hotels, try to save up enough money to rent an apartment, lose his job, have no place to fall back on. These are the individuals we're talking about who need the LGBT community. Most of us have had the privilege of being precious to somebody. And there are 129,000 kids available today who need somebody to take them in. Some of them are babies, and some of them are young children, and some of them are teenagers. And some of them have some challenges, and some of them are like every other kid you've met your entire life. And each one of those needs our love and our affection. If I was a social scientist, I would like to be the version of the FTD florist. You know how that works? You can be in one town and say, somebody in that town needs a blessing, so I can pick up the phone and call and order flowers and have them send them to them on a special day. If I was a social scientist, I'd like to say, hey, there are 129,000 kids over there who need to be adopted. 25,000 of them this year are going to move out without ever having found a family. Where's the resource that can serve that community well? It certainly is in the LGBT community. It's untapped. It's a resource that has not even been mined. People have not spent time going to the LGBT community and saying, you'd make great parents. You do a really good job. And we need to be doing that, and I'm really proud of this project for doing that. Our organization is unabashedly supportive of this work because we know firsthand that any qualified parent is the best parent. It doesn't matter the sexual orientation. That shouldn't be part of the equation. It really should be what are their qualifications as a parent, and we want to make sure that those folks are found. We also know from first-hand experience that many of our members who are LGBT parents are also doing a terrific job raising children. And so we encourage that everybody pay attention to those successes that are happening in our community, that we pay attention to the research that's being done on the success of LGBT families, and making sure that in the future all of our practices and our policies and our recruitment efforts reflect the best science in child welfare. Thank you for listening.